Hey there, welcome to The Horrible Show, the editorial video game podcast from HorribleNight.com. I'm your host, Justin Lacey, and it is Tuesday, January 15th, 2013, coming at you live like we do every Tuesday night on Twitch TV/Horrible Night. Joining me this evening for FUTURESLAM 2013, Josh Lee.
What's up? I'm so pumped for 2013, and we're in it. And
would you say you're hyped?
I definitely am hyped.
Have you confused goosebumps with boners yet?
No, they're definitely boners.
Okay.
Nerd boners. They're like internal. It's nothing weird or gross. It's just a feeling, and I don't know how else to describe it.
Cole Monroe, have you experienced any internal boners?
It's sudden and joyous.
Mine are all external.
It's celebratory, but it's also an expression of want and need, I guess. So, yeah, it's a boner.
Wow.
Love games. I love video games, and I'm really looking forward to the hope of 2013's unbelievable lineup if all these games actually come out. It's crazy.
And I feel like we barely know half the story of 2013 at this point, but
yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And I'm not even talking about new systems. I'm just talking about games.
These are the games we know about on the systems we know about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you haven't put that together, we're doing our preview of the games of 2013 tonight, but before all of that happens, Cole, we haven't hung out. What have you been up to?
Oh, man. I've actually been playing a lot of video games, which
that works.
I will talk about next week on Super Gaming Best Friends. My triumphant return. I'd used the time off from everything to get back into gaming, like pretty hardcore. So
what triggered that? Like, was it like you weren't really, you missed our Game of the Year discussions, but you're kind of helping us get organized behind the scenes. And I went through kind of after we finished all of our deliberations, I started really playing the games that I didn't want to overanalyze. I just started going through my library and kind of rediscovering having fun with video games rather than being overly critical about video games.
My main thing was I kind of decided, which is going to, whatever I'm about to say is going to go by the wayside next week, but I decided that I was going to try to finish all the games that are currently in my house before I bought anything else. But like I said, that's going to change next week. So I started playing Mass Effect 3 after you guys were talking about it, and I'm loving it.
Okay, I didn't know where that head shake was going.
I'm about 15 hours in, I think, and it's been great. I've been doing the Justin Lacey recommended Javik playthrough.
Yes.
So he's in my party at all times, and then I'll be doing the Leviathan at some point.
Yeah, sounds like you're going to get the game that they intended.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to beat it with the regular ending, like the first ending, and then go back and try to do that all.
No, do the extended cut ending.
Yeah, and then just watch. I'll just watch it on YouTube afterwards.
Yeah, there's no need to watch the ending to even see it without the extended stuff. I mean, unless it's just academics, because it really is the same ending. They just add in a couple of scenes that are a couple little bits that just make way more sense. And there's actually like a kind of another choice and some stuff. But you trust me when I say 100%, it is the best way to experience that game the first time through.
Did you?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you disagree with any of our awards? Let's get that out on the table.
Man, I got to remember back, low 3 weeks ago. What you guys selected.
I don't remember either.
Were you in support of our best digital butt?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
I was in the chat when you guys came up with that award, so I was on board the whole way. No, but I'm pretty happy with most of the awards. I remember listening to the podcast later and having a few issues, but I don't. I mean, there was like one or two that I would have fought for, but again, I wasn't on there, so it doesn't matter. And I probably wouldn't have won anyway. So
no, you wouldn't have. We really had a nice consensus on almost everything.
No, yeah, it was great.
It was democratic process at work.
You can witness all of it.
Yeah.
All 8 hours of it. So if any of you are ever thinking about getting your friends together to deliberate games like that, I suggest estimating how long it'll take by just half. Like I told the guys, yeah, we're going to do like a 4-hour podcast. Yeah, that lasted till 2 a.m. That was that was an adventure, but we had a lot of fun.
It was good. Yeah.
I believe in the result was not what I expected, but something I can surely still stand behind. So
I'm proud of it.
Good job. It's all you, Josh.
And we still have the video version just for posterity's sake. That'll go up on YouTube soon, I think.
Yeah, if we can. Yeah, that'll be. If we got it. We'll do it.
Yeah. It's just a little bit of work, and it's ready to go up.
And then and I suggest we did a recap show at the very end of it, where Josh, Ethan, and I just reviewed the winners immediately after 7 hours of deliberations, and kind of got to catch our breath and relax a little bit. So that's a little less intense than the rest of the shows. But anyway, that was the first time we've ever captured our deliberations, but we're ready for 2013. And to kick that off, game industry shout-outs. Josh, what do you got to kick us off?
Well, I think we've talked about this before, but you guys know Double Fine's adventure game got kickstarted. It was kind of the first like really big blow up Kickstarter with video games that I think like that was like the first one that was like, oh shit, $1 million, or I don't know what it ended up at. It was a lot, but I actually didn't get in on that at the time. But they continued. You could still go to their website and support it and get the exact same deals and stuff. So I did that, which gave me access to their behind-the-scenes videos,
Awesome.
which I'd only seen just the couple free ones they'd put up. But they're regularly like dumping all these videos out. And that production company also did something else too, right? Did they do the Minecraft stuff?
Yeah,
that was player 1, player 2,
player 2, I think,
player 3. Maybe 4. Usually you don't have more than 4 players. So
the couch is too full at that point.
Mm-hmm. Full couch productions, maybe. So those guys do a really good job, and I want to work there. Like I want to go work at Double Fine. I cannot believe like how just everyone's, and I mean the cameras are on them all the time, so surely they would capture. Maybe they wouldn't put it up, but they got to be getting like people at their worst too. But they just seem like such a cool, collaborative group of people. Like, I mean, they're super creative. Like, I mean, Tim Schafer is like, he's kind of a game genius. That guy's smart. Just when you hear him talk about anything, you go, okay, that guy's smarter than me, and he's intimidating. But to see him in the process and almost like in moments kind of lost even, and just knowing that he can be from one moment, he can go from like, oh, I don't know what to do, blank paper, to making Grim Fandango or something. Like, that's just crazy to me. And there's a little bit of Ron Gilbert in there, and some the fan favorite Brad Muir shows up sometimes. But it was just like really, all of those episodes I've seen so far were so cool. It's so cool to see that. I mean, like, I've seen behind the scenes stuff before. I've seen making of videos, whether like Uncharted 3 had some stuff on the disc that was kind of cool. Naughty Dog looked awesome. That was a really neat place. But something about Double Fine, it's like the difference is like going to like the big chain bar and then going to a grungy pub that is like your home away from home. Like, it looked so comfortable. Like, you just want to go in there, wear a flannel, you want to fart in your chair, and then make something amazing. That's how they look. So big shout out to those guys for just allowing that access, because that's unprecedented and honest, and I appreciate it.
I mean, they've been so open ever since they kind of turned towards Kickstarter. Like, basically, they opened the doors at that point, and that they're able to. I mean, from the outside in, it looks like things are going well for them. They're getting, I mean, at least energy level around their projects, and buzz around the Fortnite and the caves getting ready to come out, and Connect Party looks pretty damn fun. They still seem to be being Double Fine, and that's That'd be definitely the company that if I ever broke into the industry, that's like what I would be after. And
I would do whatever. I would
Isn't it
text
kinda-
pictures of my wang. I would do whatever it took.
and it's kind of weird that they're like, I almost thought all that behind the scenes stuff would kind of get rid of some of the magic about that place. But
Yeah, exactly. That's, you think, well, it's cool, but no.
and do you know if are they putting together like a full documentary with all the, or is it just going to be,
I don't know.
here's the series of videos? I hope they put something together. Probably will.
If you watch them all, you won't need it.
Right.
You really do they paint a pretty clear picture of kind of what's going on. I mean, that's the cool thing about the production company that's filming it, is they do a pretty good job on the back end with post. Like, it's edited by a real editor, obviously, because there's you're basically following a story. It's not just here's a bunch of random footage. It actually feels like you're kind of going along a journey. So just watch those if you have access to it.
Do you know what the new ETA for that game actually is?
No.
Yeah.
No. But I thought it was, for some reason, I'm thinking it's later this year.
I mean, yeah, I think originally they were shooting for October of last year.
It's got to be because
and something happened.
it's a lot of...
Yeah. I mean, they had more resources and then...
Yeah.
Their original timeline was promised on a much shorter budget than they had to knock the game out, but now they're going to try to...
And they talk about that. What are they going to spend on what? Where's the money going to go and that stuff? And it's so cool. So cool.
Yep. Cole, what is your game industry shout out?
So today, Disney decided to announce a new IP that basically says, fuck you, Skylanders. Get out of my pool.
Un-Disney-like.
Yeah. Disney's going hardcore. So it's called Disney Infinity, and basically they're releasing Skylander-like characters of their Disney property and having little tokens that you scan into the game, and it's like an open-world game. So, I mean, it's very Skylanders-ish, and it's going to blow them out of the water. Basically,
but it's existing Disney characters, right? They're not creating
it's like every existing Disney character, from Aladdin to The Incredibles to Johnny Depp.
They tease any Marvel Star Wars stuff?
I mean, it probably could down the line at some point. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Just
think about old school Hasbro or something doing this. With all the shit, if you had the sweet crossover for G.I. Joe and Transformers. Yeah, Silverhawks, GoBots. But just like that, Disney, that's cool. But the first thing I thought of was well, that's neat, but where's the one that gets adults too, or the big kids? Because I think Skylanders was just kind of man, it's neat. Everyone appreciated it. But none of us were ever seriously looking at getting it. We're going to do the same thing with Disney, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think Disney has way more compelling characters that appeal more to adults like us who grew up with those movies. More so than Spyro the fucking Dragon.
Dudes don't like Mickey, right? Justin,
I learned that this week.
Justin knows that for firsthand.
But
we do like The Incredibles,
and we do like. What else do we like, Josh? What would get
Aladdin?
men? What would get men into
the
these?
Beast? Ron Perlman as Beast?
Yeah.
If I get a little Ron Perlman action figure from Beauty and the Beast TV show, I would buy that. I wouldn't buy the game. I'd just buy the Ron Perlman action figure.
Linda Hamilton.
I guess I expected an existing toy line to do this first. I didn't see Disney being the next Skylanders.
I know,
I thought it was going to be Nintendo stepping in.
Pokemon. Yeah, that makes so much. That they will print money.
They've really done.
I don't know. I think this will be pretty successful for Disney.
Oh, I'm sure, and it's a great way to reintroduce old characters to a new generation, and
way better than Epic Mickey is doing. That's for sure.
Can't do worse, right?
Yeah. And think about this for parents. Normally you're getting you get some video games or you get some toys. Now it's both at the same time. It doesn't really cost a lot more to do it. I mean, toys have gotten kind of expensive, and so once you buy the game, you just buy toys. You were going to buy them toys anyways.
It's gonna be interesting to see if they end up being and I think they are more statuesque, like the Skylanders are.
Oh, that's too bad.
But if they're like opposable, like GI Joes, and be able to be scanned on, that would be fucking awesome.
Like at least 10 points of articulation, and then it's
with
many
hidden rubber bands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't have, and the weak point has to be in the crotch. If the plastic in the crotch doesn't snap off, then it's not a good toy. That would be sweet. Think about GI Joes.
Where are you going with this?
With that, where you have not only the dudes, but you like the vehicles. You could scan in like the Cobra Hiss or something, or like the fucking aircraft carrier, and you got to put it on the NFC thing. Oh shit, that would be it. You would get like the carrier, and that would have the little NFC scanner thing inside of it. So you just put it on the deck, and then boom. Or if you're playing the Cobra dudes, you got like the Terror Dome.
Skylanders trucks.
G.I. Joe had some badass trucks. I mean, it had the ultimate truck. It had Rolling Thunder. That was it had trucks inside of trucks. That was badass. But they also had
trucks on
sweet
trucks
shit,
on trucks.
Like the Warthog. Sergeant Slaughter had a truck that ran over shit, and it could go in water.
Speaking of Sergeant Slaughter,
yes.
I can see wrestlers, like a wrestling game being done.
Action
figures and shit.
When you think about this,
Wrestle Buddies.
It's so surprising that Skylanders was the one that broke this in. You would have thought it would have been like an established name that would have, made this happen.
Oh, you mean not Spyro?
Yeah.
Well, this was all Toys for Bob, right? I mean, this was all their idea. And they just happen to have a relationship with them, or
I don't know.
They had the idea, and that was the IP they got hooked up with. However, it was. But as far as like copying it, I fully expect to see.
Yeah, I expect
that to happen more.
See something else by this point. I expect to see a Transformers like that was.
If you want your dude to turn into a robot, you have to actually transform him and put him on the pedestal as a robot. So you
have to make the noise with your mouth.
Yeah. Do yours.
Or you have.
I can't
do it. Come on,
Voltron.
Come on, Cole. Do your transforming voice.
So my shout out.
What?
That's my voice.
Sound like a helicopter.
Yeah, it is.
It's better than mine, Cole.
Which is?
That's what I don't do.
Oh shit!
That's why we let Ethan do the bad impression, so I don't have to make a bigger fool of myself.
Let's hope everybody listening also did their noise.
Yes, everyone. Like, if you have to, in order to keep listening, you have to do your noise.
Someone in their live chat just typed it.
That's pretty good. I think it's our second best one. My game industry shout out goes to the next batch of Steam Greenlight games that have been launched, because there's been a few of these that I'm interested in, and two we've played. The headliner, as far as the games we've played, was La Mulana is finally coming to Steam, so that got greenlit.
Game's awesome.
Also on this list, Laser Suit Larry.
Laser Suit Larry.
And then a couple. We also played Unepic, so that got greenlit.
Oh yeah. I didn't like that so much, but it was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. This one my jam.
DLC Quest. I've played that on Xbox Live Indie Games. That's the game that is it's a platformer that you can't move left until you get enough money in the game to purchase the DLC to move left, and like it just builds and builds, and it's really, really funny concept. And then another game that's been making headlines lately is American McGee's next game, the kind of loosely based on Little Red Riding Hood, I think. Akiniro Demon Hunters. So he actually took this to Kickstarter recently to try to get funding to finish the game, and the game should be out pretty soon. And it's got kind of a weird backstory, and then I found out about the Kickstarter first, and then found out that it already had a release date, and then it was on Steam Greenlight. So dig into that, but and who knows? I have no idea what to expect from an American McGee game anymore, especially
Well, what does that mean now, really?
But the concept art, the screenshots look pretty cool. and you can imagine a darker edge to Little Red Riding Hood with demons. So, that brings us to our horrible shout-outs. Coleman Rowe, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, well, Justin Gifford, Giftor, as he is known on their site, reviewed Dishonored, and he gave it a great review. A 4.5 out of 5 zombie hands, or whatever those things are.
What are them symbols on our website?
My mom always thinks they're like cripple hands for playing too much video games.
Also works. We'll take it.
Carpal tunnel hands.
Yeah, carpal tunnel hands. But yeah, Gifford went to a great detail about how awesome Dishonored is, and I've kind of stayed away from everything Dishonored, and I don't know necessarily why that I've done that. I do want to play it, but I didn't get that hype package for it, and this review was my hype package.
Oh, nice.
Now I definitely want to get into it. And I don't know if I'm going to play stealth or just kill dudes, but sounds like I got a lot of options. So,
well, I think we're also working on a checkpoint episode for Dishonored, which will give you. Sounds like all the guys that have finished the game so far have all played it differently, and I've heard some interesting stories from the guys going to the kind of the extreme angles. So you'll be able to find out like which way really is your way. But we praised this game quite a bit during the Grimmies, and like I said, the more focused open world sandbox that this game allows is its strength. Just being able to interact with like a kind of a smaller environment, but still affect the world. Kind of keeps you. That's where the replayability comes from. Although I did agree, Gifford made a good point about one of his big knocks on the game was that he really wanted New Game Plus, and which is always, I think, a nice reward to have if you've really invested time in a game. That if you want to try to play it the other way, that you still have the powers. And I'm sure there was something in there where having too many of the powers at the beginning of the game may have like broken the experience a little bit, but it still would have been a nice have. I know he picked this up after the holiday, so it wasn't a game he was really planning on playing, but this game kind of, people seem to either love it or really like it. So
Dishonored Red. It's there.
It is.
Josh.
It's a different kind
it's
of game.
It's a weird word. Like, you look at it too long, and then you're just like, what does that even mean? What's it saying to me?
You could do that with any word if you stare at any word.
I know, but that's just that one in particular.
What's your horrible shout out?
My horrible shout out, big surprise, goes to Ethan Moses. This is not a Brotabulous, though. Ethan participated in a game jam. If you don't know what those are, they're little... they're like short marathon-like game creation sessions, which you do think like Ethan's making games. He's creative enough, but does he have the skills? Well, he wrote about this. Really, really cool story. He's in Berlin. He hooks up with some dudes at a wine and cheese thing or something, and he said like he tries to contain his geekery, and but he says, but then he starts drinking, and then he can't keep his mouth shut, and I think we can all attest to that. And drunk Ethan's fun, Ethan, though. But so I guess he was
to sober Ethan.
Yeah. Oh man, what a stick in the mud. So he got talking with some dude who's a developer, and they were talking about this game jam. He said, hey, you should come. So he goes to it, and his team made a game about ponies, racist ponies, and fire. They were on fire.
Burn, pony, burn. That's all you really need to know.
I can't remember exactly all the details, but Ethan worked on. He did art and some design, like writing and stuff like that, I think. But it sounded like he had a great time, and I think it might have given him the bug.
Yeah, for sure.
It was really cool just to see that, like, because I might be too scared to do a game jam like that, just especially like in a strange place, strange people, and you don't have any experience, and these people do,
and you can barely speak the language.
Right. And then you
let alone
go do this
know how to
thing
code.
where people may like they might be relying on you to produce.
I can't believe he went.
Yeah, me too. So I'm like, it actually, like, I think it might give some people some courage that would normally, because I think this would be like a great way to get into it, almost, just to see like these guys that
it sounds like they welcomed
really cool and open.
Welcomed him, and
yeah,
I'm sure he got in there and was pitching his ideas, and I was just laughing at his kind of first instance of, and then they had to tell me we only have 8 hours to do this. So, but they pulled off a prototype. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Game jams they're all over the place now. Like he was kind of saying in the article, like you'll hear about them for like marathons or for charity purposes or what have you, but they're starting to pop up all over the place. We're actually been looking into helping getting a few going around the Indianapolis area. So you might actually see more of that stuff. And also, if you follow Ethan, he loves playing any game he can get a hand on, and loves reaching out to the indie developer community. So I'm sure this will just at least keep that flame going. Yeah. So
it was really cool. It was very brave of Ethan. He's a hero to all those game making wannabes out there. Did that sound harsh?
No, I mean, you called him a hero. It's not too harsh.
Okay. I'm excluding myself in there. I mean, because that's me. I'd love to make games, but I can't. I can't do it. But Ethan did.
My horrible shout out goes to our weekly culture series, our Hey articles that come out every Tuesday. I've just been trying to mix up finding funny videos and music and all that, but like a regular as far as video game music kind of came back into play last week when Armcannon released their third album. And not only, like, if you like any of the kind of heavy metal reinterpretations of classic video game music, they're one of the best bands out there doing that. And but they also, like, it's really interesting now, like when you run across any bands doing that, especially new ones, they all kind of cover the same songs, but this new album covered a few new ones, kicked off with a Ninja Gaiden track that was just badass. So I got in reading more about them, and I found out that one of the main guys also is a chiptune artist. Danimal Cannon is his chiptune name.
Yeah.
And he has a chiptunes album called Roots that just blew my mind, and I have been listening to it ever since I posted that Armcannon article. I've been listening to his chiptunes album
On Bandcamp?
Yeah.
That's all we do, like, all day. You can work to chiptunes. Mm-hmm. That's the best part about chiptunes.
Yeah.
Is you can be productive while listening to them.
And this is the most epic chiptunes I've heard since we discovered Infinity Shred, which is more space music, but has some chiptunes background.
Yeah.
So
it's epic though.
If you like Armcannon at all, or if you like chiptunes at all, Danimal Cannon is somebody you need to check out. And it's really I try to do a music related article in that series at least once a month. And this was a big name. It also came out the same day that a new Anamanaguchi song came out. So like a lot of those artists that kind of got me really into video game music maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, like they're starting to come back around again. So that scene is really fun to watch on Bandcamp, and they're popping up in video game soundtracks, and that's kind of how we discover all of them.
Yeah, you know what? There are success stories like Vert, V-I-R-T, Vert, pretty famous in that community. He does a lot of kind of metal chiptune remake shit, but he got hired because he did some sweet Contra stuff, and then he got hired to do the Contra 4 soundtrack for the DS. Yeah, the Way Forward one. That was his music.
Oh, cool!
Like that was awesome. That was a
how big of a compliment would that be? Like seriously, all these guys emulate this music because it's what we grew up with and what they admire, and then. Yeah, we're your badass Contra cover from our game from the 80s. Oh, we got a new Contra game. We'd like you to do the soundtrack to it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's like, hey, dude, you do the best version of our stuff. Like, that's really cool. I was going to ask, though, do you know what happened to the mini bosses? Like
no, that's what got me into
metal,
it.
Yeah. Like, whatever happened to that?
Mini bosses and Eskimos are the two that...
Yeah.
And the Advantage. Those are my originals.
Yep,
I think the mini bosses actually had another album last year.
I don't think it was... Well, did they last year? I thought Brass was the last one I heard of theirs. I think
you're
it was
right.
2010 or 2009.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. So
they're due. They're definitely due. But yeah.
And then Metroid Metal and Stimmage. I think that's the...
Yeah, man, Metroid Metal, so good. I've got the CD, so good.
In year 2000X. I think that's the other... Or 20XX.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two. Those are on Spotify. So, but it was good to see Armcannon return to form and then figure out, oh shit, this guy can't get enough, and he makes his own stuff too, and it's even better. So,
speaking of, I'm just teasing here. I'm learning how to play an end to All Things. Or is that End All Things? Yeah.
That fucking song.
The song from Mass Effect, the one that gets you every time. I've got I got a piece of software that teaches me how to play that song. I'm not good. I can't read music, therefore I suck at the piano, but I'm learning.
It's got a riff in it that just makes me misty every damn time.
Yeah. You should try playing it. It's hard hitting the keys.
I can't contain that much power. That's just
I can't either. That's when it comes out I cry.
Do your fingers slip off the keys as the tears hit them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, my keyboard shorts out and it stops working. Yeah. Good. Music's good. It's good. Everyone likes it.
All right. Let's get to why we're here, why everyone is here. The first ever, should be annual, Video Game FutureSlam 2013.
Yeah, FutureSlam.
Boom. So, guys, got a big list of games that come out in 2013. What has your goosebump internal boners excited the most? I think we'll just do a round table. Let's just hit up as many as we can, then we've got a couple to close them out. But
this could also be called Hype Package 2013.
Yeah.
How are we doing this? How are we doing this?
How would you like to do it?
Well, how will you contain me? Is the question.
I think we gotta go. We gotta just one game at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid that you'll get going, and we won't ever hear from Cole.
You won't stop.
Am I throwing out the big boys, or am I saving my bombs?
You do what you like. You start us off. I want to see where you...
Oh, The Last of Us. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Now the dog. God damn. The Last of Us looks so good. Everyone's seen the trailers by now. The E3 presentation just was, ended with a shotgun blast. Oh, shit. Really, really good. I cannot wait for that game. That is going to be like I'm telling you right now, I think that is going to be the game that I enjoy the most out of 2013. I think that's going to be the one. I think I'm going to play a ton of games I'm going to go bananas over. But just knowing how I felt like playing through, let's say, Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
It just like that, like, oh God, that was like a movie. That feeling of like, that was like a movie. I think Last of Us is going to be like that. I think I'm going to feel something. I think the action's going to be awesome. I think I'm going to have stories to tell about it when I'm done playing. But I think more than anything, I'm just going to be really satisfied at the end of that. And I won't even play it again. I don't want to play it twice. I want to see like what the zombie
ending
stuff or whatever, the plant zombies or whatever, whatever that is, because I haven't seen any of that stuff. I don't know what that's going to look like, but all the interactions with the other asshole humans in the apocalypse, that stuff looks so freaking good. And by the way, they changed the character model for the girl. She no longer looks like Ellen Page.
Yeah,
Is
Beyond.
that game really coming out in May?
Yeah, it was originally supposed to be coming out last fall and then earlier this year. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's gonna be so. Those guys don't make bad games, and they have the best writing, the most realistic. I think the most human writing.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't underestimate. I guess I can't. I don't want to get. Okay, I'm really excited for this game, but not as anything related to Uncharted. Like I feel like if I'm going to go in and expecting like an action movie thrill ride, I don't think that's what this game's trying to deliver. I think there's just a lot more survival aspect to it. And
yeah, okay, but that doesn't like Book of Eli kind of, or like, I mean, it doesn't have to be Indiana Jones. It could. I mean, they still do a good job of making this, a cinematic experience, a game that you think like, wow, if I saw the movie version of this and they just did the same stuff, it would be awesome. Like that's kind of the thing. It doesn't have to just be like giant set piece after giant set piece. It's more like the character interaction,
sure,
and the way they push stories forward.
What you wanted The Walking Dead to be.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's gonna be awesome. I'm so hyped for that.
I think it's the battle between that and another game we'll talk about. Those are the two that I think look fantastic.
It's a pre-release game of the year candidate.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I was waiting for. Remember last year when Mass Effect 3 came out? Like, I think going into E3, like, I kept looking for what's going to be the contender, what's going to try to knock this off. And when I saw The Last of Us, I was like, that's it, that's the game. And now it's going to be a hell of a battle in 2013.
Watch that scene. Watch the scene where you see the dude playing, and the main character and the girl are inside of that apartment building, and those dudes come and try to kill him. And it's brutal. It's real. It's gritty. It's like you watch that scene and you tell me that is not like the greatest thing you've ever seen. And I'll call you a liar if you tell me.
For the first time in a long time, a single gunshot is that affecting.
Yeah. The entire audience and everybody watching home, just way that trailer conclude or the gameplay session concluded, just a unified.
Yeah, it seems so personal. The violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I got a taste of that. I've been playing Spec Ops: The Line recently. Mm-hmm. I got a little taste of that, of what personal violence actually kind of feels like in video games. And if Naughty Dog gets a hold of that,
continual basis every time you get into some shit.
Yeah. And
it doesn't look like you have to escort. Like, it's not an escort mission so much. But because that girl seemed very capable
of throwing bricks at dudes' faces.
Yeah. But at the same time, if you have that attachment that I'm sure you will have.
That's where the Walking Dead stuff keeps, because that's what everybody talks about is the attachment to Clementine. If they can, and Naughty Dog's capable of putting together a story of that effect.
Hell yes, they are.
And if they can pull, and the gameplay looks like it's going to pull that off.
I'm calling it right now. You're going to care way more about the girl in Last of Us than you did Clementine.
I'm sure.
Calling it. Calling it.
Unless she turns zombie.
Into a zombie.
That'd be
plant zombie. What? I don't know what they are. It's like something. There's like
that's
a
whole
thing.
Other game.
I don't know. It's like the happening happened, and then there was a fallout.
So the only other,
I don't know.
The only other game that I think I question, like these are the two games like I could be done this year after The Last of Us and BioShock Infinite. If BioShock Infinite can pull off on its promises
on the type
of all those trailers, it's been quiet for a while, and there's been a lot of like weird stuff going on at Irrational, but they're also probably just in heavy get this game done mode rather than the creativity's probably been put to rest there for a while. That these two experiences could be the way to say goodbye to this console generation. Like I hope BioShock Infinite comes together. Like I see some of those gameplay demos. I just don't. I was like, what does a game that is full of that even look like? But they pull it off with the first BioShock. But
I just hope that they have not shown us everything. Like I get the sense that there has to be a lot more to it. I feel like they've shown us the same like two areas and the same stuff every single time, and it feels guarded, and I don't know why, and that kind of worries me, I guess. But if there's this big, expansive world and places that we haven't even been teased yet, then I'll be excited. But I kind of want to see another trailer that shows me just new stuff.
I mean, I think if you think back to one of the trailers where you kind of do that time travel thing, where it goes to like the alternate future universe, and you're just like, holy shit, I think that could be...
Who knows how big amazing. They blow that out.
Yeah.
I bet they don't. I bet that stuff is minimal.
Brief.
I bet it's not as crazy as
Well,
you might think. I don't know. I want to be surprised though. I'm tempering my expectations for that.
Right.
Where were you on the BioShock original hype train? Like, as far as, were you guarded going into that?
I was mad that it wasn't System Shock 3 because I'm a butthole.
You're such an asshole.
Yeah, but it was. I really liked the game. It was really good, but I also, I liked. It was a good game, but I didn't like BioShock 2. I didn't even play. I didn't want to be in that world anymore. I was done with it by the end of 1.
Yeah,
like, that's. Yeah.
I don't even worry about BioShock 2 as far as. If you wanted more, that's available to you. But I was. Also
yeah. I mean, it was just more of
free
like
on PSN Plus right now.
the point was just that BioShock, the world was really neat. Rapture was cool, but it was, by the end of it, I was done with the world, I guess. Sure. So whatever that says about the game, Infinite looks neat, but they just haven't hooked me yet.
I guess I'm more excited for that than Last of Us, just because BioShock was just one of those generational games that really stood out to me, and I want to see what they pull off next. And because I was worried about the accessibility of BioShock, because after going through System Shock, like, the game beat the hell out of me. And while I loved it for it, I just didn't know if BioShock was going to be able to pull it off and be like more fun to play. And that's been like, it's one of my top 3 games of the generation, if I just had to spout that out. But so I'm really excited for that follow up. And I guess having played Uncharted 3 and kind of having a little bit of not being as into it as I expected to be, like, I guess I might be kind of jaded against Naughty Dog, although I think it sounds completely unreasonable.
It does, because they're two completely different types of games.
But I want to see how they pull it off, because, like, in the end, some of the gameplay to Uncharted wasn't really what was pulling me in, and so, but those.
I think
I'm just gut reaction. I'm more excited for Infinite.
Uncharted might have just the franchise might have overstayed its welcome a little bit. I thought 3 was like completely competent.
Yeah,
and it was really good, and I enjoyed the story and all that. But it felt like 2.
But then again, that team
had better characters.
That team,
and all that stuff.
That team had probably moved on.
2,
yeah, that's the thing.
2 didn't exist.
I know.
Okay.
If they were just reversed, like, the build up would have been just fine. But
I guess 3 made me just kind of question gameplay chops to a little extent, and I love the gameplay of BioShock. Plus, I love the world of BioShock, and
they really improved though in gameplay.
They polished it, but it still became just what I noticed. The more, like, wave after wave of enemies scenarios that just started to wear on me. It was just moving from set piece to set piece, even though they're fucking awesome set pieces. Like, that variety, like, wore out.
Sure, but from everything we've seen in The Last of Us, that gameplay is not going to be the same.
We haven't seen much though. Like, we've seen some really cool.
Well, we've seen someone playing the game.
We've seen cool isolated gameplay segments from both games.
Way more. Sure, there could be. They could just be showing us like that. You know what? This is a situation that you're only going to do 1 out of 10 times, and the rest of the time you're playing third-person cover shooter. Mm. But I don't buy that. I just don't buy that.
I'm probably like, I'm debating between like 2 very top games that
you're gonna love.
The game, they're trying to build up tension in that game, and they're not going to do it by turning it into Uncharted combat. So I don't believe that they're going to attempt to do that. It would be a bad idea. I agree, but there's no way.
Cole, what's your first game?
My first game is Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. It's actually being released next week, so 2013 is here, guys. So there's a demo on PS3. I did a little preview that's coming out this week.
Wait, look at this. The first 3 games you mentioned, 2 of them are PS3 exclusives. I did not expect to start off
that's
that
amazing.
Way. But keep going.
And I did a little preview. It's coming out this week on the site. But the demo is fucking awesome. And reviews are starting to trickle out too. and it sounds like it's going to be a great game, great experience. It's a Japanese RPG through and through, but it looks like a Studio Ghibli film, which they made Spirited Away and Howl's Moving Castle and a bunch of other stuff I can't think of right now.
Miyazaki or something? No,
Miyazaki.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks good, like really good.
It's so, yeah, I mean, like, it's like, it looks like an animated film, like the whole game. Like the transitions from like a full motion video cutscene to the actual gameplay is like, you can barely tell the difference. Except, one's rendered in 3D, obviously. But it's the battles are great. It just and it's kind of got like a Pokemon system kind of buried in it with familiars. So you go around collecting little guys to fight for you. So I don't know. It seems to be like scratching that itch of old school Super Nintendo RPG for me, which is awesome because I haven't had a lot of that lately. Besides going back and playing Super Nintendo RPGs. So yeah, that's why I'm real hyped for this and can't wait to get in it. And it's supposed to be like, you can beat it in 40 hours, but it's probably like 80 hours total of stuff.
Is it a party system or are you solo?
So you can have in the demo there's two different like scenarios you can play. The first scenario you're by yourself with one familiar. And then in the second scenario, you're with a girl, and you both have familiars. So you kind of want to fight with your familiars. It seems like because your characters aren't that strong. But so I don't know if that means like there's going to be other characters that join your party other than that girl, or it's just you two, or by yourself with your familiars throughout the game. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, and I haven't done a whole lot of reading on it because I kind of want to stay away from that kind of stuff to have a fresh experience going in. So, but it's cool. It's very reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy X, where you have like the contained areas.
Okay.
On where you're following a little path and stuff, but then there's also an overworld as well. So it's like a combination of the old school Final Fantasy games with Final Fantasy X. So the overworld, that's where you go and get your side quests and such. So.
Yeah, I watched a few trailers. Obviously, blown away by the animation and the look of the game. But actually, I got a Legend of Zelda vibe from it for some reason. I don't know if it was just the bright colors and almost like it seemed like some sort of attachment to nature or revolving around that a little bit. And it's kind of one of those. Oh, I've seen enough. I want to play this game. So now. There's so many games coming out. I wonder when it's going to pop up in my list. But you're giving it a good hype package there.
Well,
that's the thing. Like, it's out next week, next Tuesday.
So, and then DMC is out today. What else?
Yeah,
I think we have you got a week, 2 weeks maybe.
The Cave comes out next week too.
Yeah, the Cave next week, and then
2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to play this game. This is a game that you do not want to have limited time on.
Yeah. No, and there's some cool ass shit going on like within the game that it's kind of weird too. Like I don't want to get into it too much because I want people to kind of discover it. But there's also like oh shit, I just forgot what I was going to say.
Are you getting this, Josh?
Anyway,
some sort of
are you on this
twist thing?
No, I was going to say
what?
I can see like. Not as Josh, you kind of someone like you might be less interested in this because of like the protagonist is a young boy with a high pitched voice, and since you don't like furries and don't want to play games with furries in them, that's not the backlash.
No. If it's a good game, I don't care if the character has a tail.
No, I know.
Hence,
I just hope people don't look at it that way. And
well, I don't like child actors, so as long as an adult does the voice, I'm okay.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Uh-oh.
Was this day one purchase for you, Josh? I'm curious.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm going to wait and see what Cole says about the full version, and then I'll make my purchase decision based on that.
I mean, because it's always tough to squeeze in a big RPG. And
yeah.
So
Because I'm playing some shit now. I'm gonna have a hard time squeezing in a JRPG.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like these games, they're all coming out throughout the whole year. We don't have a spot for these long ass games anymore.
We're basically getting 12 months compressed into 6 months. I feel because
of the new consoles.
Yeah,
the doors get blown off. All right, Josh, what's next for you?
Oh, buddy. Okay, here's a PC exclusive for you. Company of Heroes 2 by Relic.
Mm-hmm.
Company of Heroes, in my personal opinion, is the best strategy game of all time.
Boom.
You can keep your StarCrafts and your APM and your ridiculously loud, quick
Can I keep
keyboard
Dune?
slamming.
Can I keep Dune?
Yeah, you can keep Dune.
Can you keep your canes?
You can keep Red Alert. That's fine. That's all.
Your Ric Flairs?
Advance Wars.
Yeah, definitely. That's not a RTS. The Company of Heroes is so freaking good. I mean, Ethan and I played every once in a while. We're way overdue for another game of Company of Heroes, but
I was really hoping you guys could get that going during our marathon.
I know.
I really
that was
wanted to see that.
Yeah, but you know what? I had trouble with that. The networking on that game online other times too. I've almost always played it LAN. I mean, but we played it online before together. It was just causing problems. I don't know. We thought maybe it was Germany blocking him since he was playing. There were going to be Nazis in the game. So I know that's not the case. But anyways, so the new game looks really, really good. I can't explain to you if you've never played a bunch of RTS games, like how much of a difference the aesthetics of the game and the animations and the reactions of the soldiers and stuff in the game, how much that can affect your enjoyment. But like with Company of Heroes, even when I was losing, it was always fun to watch. It was, you're going, shit, they just blew up my tank, but it blew up so good. they cram so much detail into, I think they perfected, and with the Dawn of War games too, but they perfected the art of making stuff look good from the perspective that you've got, that isometric view. So it's crazy. You're like, it looks like real tanks and soldiers and stuff, and they react as such. It's your tanks get hit in the rear, they're boned. Your dudes get caught in the open, they're gonna get mowed down. So they're gonna hit the dirt and crawl to the nearest trench or tree or fence or whatever. You can blow apart anything in the levels. But the micromanaging of all of your the units is easy enough. Like, because I'm not good at strategy games, but I never feel overwhelmed in COH. And it's just I just love that game so much. And 2, just really, it's like more of the same. It's more, better, bigger, but they didn't stray too far. As far as everything I've seen, and it's Eastern Front this time, which will be cool. Because the Russian tanks are awesome. I like Russian tanks. Yeah, so I'm super excited for that game because, as far as I know, there's no other. I mean, we had StarCraft 2, and it's going to get an expansion this year. But it's good. It's a great game. What else do we have? Like, RTS wise, not much. I mean,
the Command and Conquer's Generals 2 free to play.
No one cares about that franchise anymore. It hasn't been good in a really long time. But they're just like aren't RTSs. No one's making them, and there's going to be exceptions here and there. But there's really no military RTSs. No, and that used to be like the genre, and it's one of those that PC does so well. And like I've got a shelf of PC games, and like a good third of them are RTS games. And they were just like a new one every month. Like you had, what's this? It looks cool. So I feel like Company of Heroes 2 is like it's kind of one of those beacons of hope for the genre, for a whole genre. I think RTSs are going the way of the space flight sim, or the flight sim even. So I'm really pumped for that. It's going to be out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's in the whole THQ thing. I mean, these games this last batch of THQ games that was all slated for this year, they will find their publisher and they will probably still.
Oh, this is this will make it.
But this was in that batch. So let's see. I had a March. I thought it was a March. Maybe not.
It was originally. It's not on your list. I don't know. Oh, there it is. It says March. Yeah, I found it.
Yeah, sounds about right. A lot of these are listed as quarter 1, so March. Just prepare yourself for March, even though February will be all right as well.
Yeah, PC Gamer's done some cool previews on that game. If you want to go check it out over there.
I think the next game on my list has to be Tomb Raider. Funny thing is, I've been getting an itch. I've been getting an itch to go back and play Tomb Raider Underworld again. I really like that game. So Tomb Raider and I have had an interesting history just because I completely skipped the PlayStation 1. Played Tomb Raider well after the fact. And that was, neat as far as like another demonstration of how to move in 3D space when everybody was figuring all that out. But I'd always kind of kept an eye on it, and especially when Crystal Dynamics took it over, who became one of my favorite developers around the time of the Soul Reaver series. I love how they do their environmental puzzles and just solving the world, and I thought that blends really well with what Tomb Raider's trying to do.
It's all about level design.
Yeah.
Well, the older games were. And
so I played Tomb Raider Underworld after I'd played through 2 Assassin's Creed games, and I want to say at least one Uncharted game. And I was like, there is no way that this game is going to still be fun to play. It was a little bit older at that time, but I got in there and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, the traversal was a little bit clunky compared to especially what Uncharted's been able to do, which is kind of picked up where it left off. So it's kind of nice to see Tomb Raider get a kind of a reimagining here. I'm really interested to see what they do with Laura's character. I think they're doing some really cool stuff, and they are kind of pushing the line there, but I think that's a good thing. But also, games have come so far, just even since this game has started its development. So I wonder what it's going to turn out to be. Like, if it was really intended to come out last year, because they were kind of aggressive with it when they announced it, and I just wonder, will it learn some of the lessons that like I said, I got kind of tired of Uncharted towards the end of Uncharted 3, and then recently playing Far Cry 3 and a lot of the kind of survival stuff that is kind of being focused on for a lot of the trailers for Tomb Raider, like I'm wondering how it'll stack up to that. So I got a lot more questions about it, but I'm still really excited to play the game, and it has been an interesting project ever since they announced it. And adventure games, these character action adventure games tend to be my favorite genre. So I hope that
mine too. Yeah,
I hope that Laura kind of gets her resurgence here.
You know what? The trailer they showed last E3 sold me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna buy the game, but they just this past week they showed off the multiplayer. That looked completely forgettable. Everyone was comparing it to Uncharted multiplayer, which was ultimately completely forgettable.
Completely forgettable.
Yeah, that's okay because I don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's just tacking on multiplayer, and I'm like, you know what? You do this other part right. I don't care. I don't need that. Single player. I don't have enough time, but I do have enough disposable income. So I'm just single player is fine.
And then we all
make it good.
The only thing is we just get that fear of, can you put more of that budget, more of those people to single player?
Yeah, but that's not. It's not
and
usually
also,
really how it works either. We know that too.
Yeah, just like for a game coming at the end of this cycle, like, do you really need to build up your multiplayer crowd for this one? It could just be. Just knock it out of the park.
Haven't they? There are so many games that with multiplayer components that no one ever touched.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what makes them think that this one is going to be the one?
How's the Far Cry multiplayer been doing? They went out of their way to make the whole separate co-op campaign, and
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah,
I mean the co-op looks fine, but I actually played a bunch of Far Cry 1 multiplayer. This sounds random, but used to run a LAN center, so that was like we played a lot of games, just random ones. And the multiplayer, that was like, it was totally competent and fun, and it was fun in LAN environment, but so was anything else that we played. There was nothing about that stood out. Like If it's a Crisis multiplayer, totally competent,
Yeah. Yeah.
forgettable. Like you're not doing anything different. If you're not, then why? Because there are plenty of games that just do multiplayer and do it really, really, really well. Why are you trying to compete with that shit?
You. Crisis 2 did some things different in
Sure.
their multiplayer, which I really enjoyed.
I mean, they all do stuff that's a little bit different, but
That was deathmatch with power-ups, and that's been done a million times.
I don't know. I feel like that multiplayer space is just, it's so competitive. Like I don't know. I think.
But do the developers think they're going to get that Call of Duty type of
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
rub from players?
Why else would they focus their resources on it?
There's no way they can think that
You know what, though?
that's going to happen, though.
Well, maybe there's research that shows like that your sales go up by X% if you have the feature. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this could be purely a mathematical thing. This could be
or
just
back
academic.
of the box like features.
Yeah, it could be a bullet point thing where like, well, we spend X amount and we think we're going to get this much more. They really could be calculated on that, because I cannot imagine a designer sitting there going, you know what? I bet Tomb Raider has a real good chance of being a blow up, like sweet multiplayer experience. Like, no, people don't. They're not playing multiplayer like that these days. Like, I don't know what numbers they would be looking at if they think that would be the case. What are they looking at?
I'd like to know.
Yeah, show me those numbers, because I haven't seen them. But
Cool.
still, the game looks awesome. The single player looks great.
Yeah, it does. I saw a commercial for it on TV yesterday, and I was like, "Oh shit! I didn't realize that was coming out that soon."
That voice actor's really good. Who's doing Laura? I really like her.
Yeah.
She's from something. I'll have to look that up.
A bunch of stuff, but yeah,
Cole, what's your next
she's
game?
good.
So my next game is going to be moving to the 3DS, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and it's not necessarily looking forward for myself, but I think both of you guys kind of have the same feeling sometimes that I do, that we like get excited for games that our significant others can play. And this is one for me, because my wife, unlike very many people, loved the first Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube. So she's really excited about this, and kind of has me excited for it, because I never played the Luigi's Mansion, the original. So I think I always look forward to something that she can get excited about, like Super Mario Brothers U. She loves that. So I think it's going to be another one of those type of games that she can take my video games away from me.
That's, it's, well, at some point she's got to get her own 3DS, right?
Yeah, right. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the ultimate goal. Yeah, but if enough of these games come out,
That's
like
true.
isn't that though? That's end game. That's ultimate victory for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't know if I can pull that ultimate victory off, which is unfortunate.
There's something about, and this is all anecdotal. I know not everybody's like this, and there's plenty of females out there that are way geekier than us about the games, and there's plenty of dudes who don't care at all or whatever. But anecdotally, like most of us, we've got significant others in our lives that like games, but they will never admit it to themselves. Like in a total sort of way. I mean, they'll say like, "Oh, that game's fun," but they will never say like, "I'm a gamer," like proudly.
Yeah.
They would never announce that to the world, and they can't even say it to themselves. So it's like, oh, do you like? So when it comes to purchase decisions, like, it's always like a guilt thing. Like, I can't spend $50 on that thing, because that's just because if I feel like I'm wasting my time or whatever. I'm like, why is that?
Yeah, all game
Quit
purchases
holding back.
They fall into my hands no matter what, if she's
Yeah,
interested in
yeah.
it. Like we were looking at Dance Central 3 the other day. I was like, it's like $20. Why don't we get it? And she was like, So eventually I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah.
She's not
Yep. And that's the thing. Like, why? Like, all you're doing is perpetuating a stereotype.
Yep.
Why don't you read about the fucking games yourself and buy your own damn games? Guess
Why
what?
don't you listen to our podcast? Then you'll find out.
Yeah, no shit.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Are we okay, guys?
I think we're a little butthurt.
I'm going to need some creams.
But yeah, so Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. And plus, it's always nice to get other 3DS games to own.
Yeah, I keep wondering if they could get enough of those games, you could get them queued up for your wife. As far as like if every 2 months, 3 months, like
Dude, this is stuff I think about a lot.
It is, yeah, I do too.
I've been kind of
You got to plan this shit out.
Yeah, because I've kind of been depressed looking at the Wii U release list, like waiting. She's about done.
It'll happen. It'll happen. But it's like I think don't go right to Rayman Legends. You're gonna need something in between.
I don't know if I will.
You're gonna need something in between.
I don't think there is something in between.
You find it.
What's the next game on your list?
Oh, all right. This is a doozy. Whether you realize it or not, this is something that I'm gonna play a lot. Okay, I picked my game I think is gonna be like the best, and then the one that is I'm gonna white knight, and then this is the one I'm gonna spend the most time with, and that's Starbound.
What's Starbound?
Which you don't even know what that is. You guys know Terraria?
Yes.
This is the sequel.
No shit.
Yeah.
Is it in space?
Yep.
Okay.
So it looks a lot like Terraria. It's better graphics, but it's evolutionary. So it looks very similar. You'll recognize it right away. But the better graphics really just facilitate a Borderlands-like system of random shit generator. and that's that does actually have a random guns generator inside of it, but it also has random wildlife generator. I've seen penguins with like rocket legs and wings and shit. Well, already working wings.
Borderlands needs to get a hold of that.
Yeah.
Random enemy generators.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it looks really cool since they're doing it with 2D. They can make and the art most of the time doesn't need like a ton of frames for it to animate a single thing. So I think they just blow through that artwork. So like, let's put more shit in. So, but you're gonna have a spaceship, and this is probably gonna be the most Star Trek game like ever. Star Trek Voyager game. How about that? Because you're gonna be in space, and you can play co-op just like Terraria. So you're playing with your buddies, and you got a spaceship, and you say, "I want to go to a planet," and it randomly generates infinite planets. So you go to a planet, and it's like
Speed Planet.
What's the environment like? Oh, it's all water. Well, shit. Let's we better get the diving suit on. Yeah, yeah, right. Flip a snorkel. Space snorkels. You go to another planet and it's nothing but sand or whatever, or space trees or tentacles. If you like those are in the game.
We have those available.
Sometimes you're going to get like docile animals, and then other times you're going to get crazy monster beast things that are trying to kill you. It's got a bigger variety in the construction items. At any time, you just teleport right back up to your ship, and then you go about your merry way, go somewhere else. It's Terraria, but more. And I can tell you right now, Kylie and I are going to play the shit out of that game. The only reason we stopped playing Terraria was because we just hit a wall of like the end of the content. It was like, you know what? We didn't actually beat like last boss, but we'd done all the stuff, explored all the areas. We were done. We didn't care about because the end game stuff in that game is kind of chintzy and shitty and whatever. It's there. There's some little bit of stuff, but not much. And so we were done. We played the game basically to completion, and we were done with it. Otherwise, we would have kept playing that game. And this is going to be bigger just by the nature of all those features I mentioned. I could not be more pumped for this. And they haven't shown a lot, but the stuff they have trickled out, or if you're paying attention to like a Twitter feed or a website when they go with live with some of their testing sessions on Twitch, you can actually watch them play it. But they don't ever archive it, so you can't go back and watch the shit after the fact. So you got to see it live. But I have actually caught a couple of their sessions, and it just looked like exactly what I want. Just fantastic. It looks like so much fun. So if you were a Terraria fan, you should be really pumped for this game. Starbound, I'm not sure what the release date is yet. They were talking about doing a beta in December. That didn't happen, so I have no idea. But maybe there's an idea. I'm sure it's got to be 2013. It has to be.
And if you were scared of Terraria, I should be terrified of Starbound.
Don't even think about it.
Is this actually the same guys or guy?
Yeah, yes.
All right. Because they basically, they weren't going to try to Mojang this. They basically did what they wanted to do with Terraria and got out and moved on. They didn't, they could have gotten sucked into basically an infinite support of that game.
Although Mojang also they've outsourced their console version, right? And that's also what the Terraria guys did. So they got something in common there.
Yeah, because that comes out this year. Mm-hmm. So
soon, I think. Mm-hmm. They just put out a new a release trailer thing, I thought.
Sure.
Starbound. Oh, boners.
So let's talk about
Yes.
a South Park game.
Oh shit! That's on the list, huh?
What a surprise, huh?
Josh doesn't like South Park too much, so
This looks great.
We don't talk.
I
talk
think.
about it.
I don't know what it is.
I can't tell if I'm like the screenshots. My favorite part about them is I can't tell what's in the game, like versus what's a cutscene, because they try to make everything look like the show. So everything looks like a cutscene.
It's very comparable to Ni no Kuni to me, like in terms of that seamless transition between
in South Park's
show.
way.
Yeah,
South Park's way,
this might be easy to pull off. I don't know, but everything's 2D, but it does look just like the show. But the best parts of the footage have been the writing, because it is written just like the show.
Because it's Matt and Trey are actually
but they're actually like writing the jokes as they would write them. It's like they didn't seem like shoehorned into a different medium. It would actually seem like the show's jokes. So if you like the show,
I don't know if it'll be better than
the
the 64 game.
I was just gonna say I've been waiting for a good South Park game since the Nintendo 64. Because I really tried my damnedest to like that game.
I think we all did. We all did.
What about Go-Go Tower Defense or whatever it was called?
Nope.
You said Tower Defense and lost me, but I actually heard that
Tenderman's Revenge.
So even if the writing holds up and the story is South Parksian, and like I really like a lot of their parody stuff, especially I've loved any video game references they've thrown in the show, because they do a really good job of kind of poking fun at gamers, but also kind of saying we're gamers too, like, and just being very self-aware about it. But the real question is, how long can that carry through this game? If how much is the gameplay going to be mixed up? It's just all these gameplay questions, but I will be trying this out.
If they can make it even mildly fun, but it's just funny the whole time,
that's okay too.
And you can tolerate that much funny South Park,
yes,
then sure, it should be on your hype list.
My question is, I just hope the content stays fresh and it's not a bunch of like repeated catchphrases the whole time. That kind of gets old and boring. Like everything. I would want everything to be fresh at all times.
I'd also like to, Obsidian has some great RPG experience, but I don't have their track record with me. Everything's a little bit buggy and a little bit
yep, and just
the polish isn't there, and that could if things seem really repetitive or something, just like you said, if they really incorporated great dialogue in the game, but there's the way that they do it makes it so you hear the same stuff over and over again, that could, if they don't figure that kind of stuff out, that could really push me away. And that's I got a lot of question marks about the game, but I also, it looks pretty interesting, and I don't know if Matt and Trey are actually behind it. I hope it comes together. So.
Yeah, the gameplay better be fun though.
Cole, next up.
I'm gonna go with a Wii U title, Lego City Undercover. I kind of look forward to, if I'm gonna play an open world game, I want something to be a little bit different. And I don't know a whole lot about this game. I think it looks neat just because it's Lego dudes in an open world game. But if it's just like a GTA clone, then I'm not so much interested in it anymore. I don't necessarily know what I want out of it, but
you want another game to play on the Wii U?
Yeah,
that uses the gamepad in interesting ways.
Yeah, but Saints Row kind of scratched that itch, and if it can do a bunch of interesting things and original things, then I'm into it. But if it's just more of the same, I don't know, it's just a big unknown for me right now.
Sure, it looked promising though, and
yeah.
As long as it has the Lego charm to it too, I'll give it a shot. But I wonder, lots of question marks there too. Just they haven't revealed all that much about it. So
yeah, and I don't want it to be like the other Lego games either. I think that type of gameplay gets tired pretty quickly. So yeah, that's pretty brief.
All right, before we get into our final two major categories, I kind of want to do a rapid fire round so you can give shout outs to a handful of games.
Oh, yeah.
So, Josh, just start barreling through, and we'll see what survives to Cole and I.
Games I'm mega pumped about. Marvel Heroes.
Tell us about it, because you just told me about it today. And
This is Gazillion. There's a dude who was a main designer on Diablo 1 and 2 who is working on this game. It looks just like a Diablo game, but it's with Marvel Heroes. It's free to play. They call it an MMO, but it's really like a co-op action RPG. And you don't make your own dude. You just play as the Marvel dudes. And I mean, it plays exactly like a Diablo. So it's use the mouse, left click your main attack, right clicks your secondary attack. It looks fun. I love Marvel shit. I'm really pumped for this. This is another co-op date night game. Really
is that Deadpool game supposed to come out this year?
yes.
Yeah. But I need to see more of that.
Some of it.
Repeated catchphrases. Look out.
Arma 3.
Yeah?
I don't know. I haven't seen a ton about that.
Well, they just got out of prison.
But yeah, I'm excited to see maybe on the ground level jump into some of like those big ass tactical games that you always hear about.
I mean, DayZ overshadowed everything with me for Arma 2. Did you play some Arma 2? Did you get into
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I did, but not much. Because it's kind of daunting. You need like a group. And after watching some of the Dr. Campbell videos on YouTube recently, the guy who sounds just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who plays on a lot of the big servers, I want to jump into that game now. Metal Gear Solid Revengeance. Suddenly I'm pumped because of that new trailer. It looks awesome. Day one, buying it.
Cuts up a giant Metal Gear.
Yeah, and with epic I mean, I was surprised they didn't do a slow-mo wink at the camera because it was just it was cheesy, but in a really, really good way.
I can't
Any exclamation points in the trailer? No.
What? No.
What?
No exclamation points?
No, none of those.
The character is actually kind of creeping me out. Like, the more machine he looks, it's kind of weird.
It's just looking so platinum.
Okay.
It's looking so platinum.
And that's great.
Yeah, it is.
It's gone past me caring that's even a Metal Gear game.
Yeah.
It's the next platinum game. And that's why I'm excited for it.
Yep. I'll say here's some games I don't know shit about.
Sure.
Snake Hospital / The Phantom Pain.
Oh.
That's Metal Gear something, but we don't know yet. I hope it comes out this year. Dark Souls 2. Don't know shit about it.
Is that actually this year?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay.
I'll say also SimCity. I'm going to play me some SimCity. That looks fun, but it looks like SimCity, but I'm ready for a new one. And then and also Monster Hunter 3.
Ultimate.
I don't know. This you guys. I'm sure probably Cole can talk about that a little bit, but that looks exciting. And Fortnite.
I forgot about Fortnite. Good call.
Is that coming out this year?
Has to, right?
Yeah, I think. I think it is. It seems like that's the cycle would put it out this year, and that's just whoa. That's going to be. What, first-person shooter, Minecraft-y kind of zombie defense game where you build your defenses and then you kill stuff and hope they don't break through, like barricade your walls kind of stuff. But it looks very sandboxy, and the creative mode stuff looks it's not Minecraft, but that's the best. That's the most like they've mentioned that before, like saying like we want you to be able to make anything when you're building up your defenses, and that looks really fun. That's a epic.
Yeah, and it's also
Epic Games.
Epic's kind of getting into a new era for themselves, the post Cliffy B era. Yeah. I know he helped out with some of the beginnings of the game. He was hyping it.
Right.
Early on.
Which is maybe all they needed him for.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's true. But it'll be kind of the first step without him, and who knows where they're going game development wise. So that'll be kind of
just looks fun, and it kind of had a TF2 kind of aesthetic, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like
good.
maybe like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not trying to do this great, super gritty zombie. No, it's like it looks fun. It just looks like a fun ass co-op game.
Going back to Monster Hunter, so I felt really alone when I played a ton of Monster Hunter Tri on Wii.
Oh yeah, that's right. You played that,
and you guys seem to be somewhat hyped for this. So we're getting it on the Wii U. It's on both
or 3DS. Yeah.
And
Cross-platform play.
Really?
And your save file moves too. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
And you can play
Whoa.
on you can be playing on the toilet, and I can be in my living room, and we're co-oping.
Or we could both be on the toilet.
Yeah, or we could swap. Be like, dude, I'm gonna go poop now. Okay, I'm gonna go to the living room.
Okay.
My legs
Somebody
falling
always has to
asleep.
be pooping in our co-op system.
Yes, always be shitting is the. It's
I gotta poop,
name
Josh.
of our new video
Get on
series.
Monster Hunter real quick.
I think
About
that's
10 minutes.
I think that's when they start selling the game pads on their own. That'll be Cole, start your lightning round here?
All right, so I'm looking at The Cave. Pretty interested. Don't know a whole lot about it, but it's coming out next week.
Don't
And
find
it'll be
Ron
on the
Gilbert.
Wii U's. Yeah, I mean, I know it's.
That's what we know.
I know it's.
Love that
I'm
guy.
Fine. I know a bunch of people are probably interested in Aliens, Colonial Marines. I could probably get into that.
I hope it's good.
If it's any good, yeah. Fire Emblem Awakening. I've never played a Fire Emblem game, but I've always kind of been
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with
kind of on
you.
the outside looking in, kind of be like, I don't necessarily understand what the hell this game is.
You'll like it.
Yeah.
Get it? Yeah.
I mean, did you like the tactics games? Final Fantasy Tactics, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I don't think I gave it enough of a shot,
Okay.
but I did enjoy it.
I felt
what
bad
did play
because
of it.
I played the hell out of like the first two Advance Wars games, and then they finally released a Fire Emblem game on the DS. And no, I think it was even back in the GBA, and I was like, "This is awesome! I wish I'd been playing this instead of Advance Wars." But now I couldn't get into it, so I'm hoping I've taken a long enough break, and this looks pretty cool.
The good news is you're going to play it anyways because it's a 3DS game,
Right.
and there aren't going to be a lot of really, really good ones.
Yeah. All the Mega Mans that are coming out
Yes.
for 3DS.
Yes,
What?
Mega Man
I don't know shit
All
about
the
Mega
old-
Mans.
Mega Man-
All the old school Mega Mans are coming to 3DS.
1 through
eShop.
1. Is it 1 through
3D?
8 or 1 through 6?
Wait, in 3D?
I think it's no, I don't think so. Just the Virtual Console.
Man.
Virtual Console.
What the hell? Well, at least that means it'll at least be on. You'll be able to play it on the gamepad as well, right? Whatever.
Yes,
you don't need
yes.
to play it on the gamepad because you got the
Eventually.
3D. Why would you?
That was
do
they said.
that?
They said that
Why
last
would you
week.
do that?
Eventually, you can play the Virtual Console games.
Yeah. We mentioned BioShock Infinite. Game and Wario, I think could be interesting on the Wii U.
I hope so.
Just I hope so. Hope it's not just a one-time play and just like, all right, that's it. Guacamelee
Yes.
looks fucking amazing.
Lots of another PS3 exclusive. Like,
But that's a downloadable though, right?
yes. I
It's not disc-based.
was looking through my Raptor history, like prior to going into our 2012 discussions. I did not use my outside of Journey. I really did not use my PS3 last year. It was kind of depressing. So, but it's kind of funny how it was basically I think my playlist went from Uncharted 3 to Journey, and that was pretty much it. So but we've mentioned at least 3 exclusives that I've got to play this year already.
Yeah, I'm going to mention another one right now. Beyond Two Souls.
Okay.
I think that one looks interesting. Like, I played a little bit of Heavy Rain and I liked what I played. But I think if they could get the controls down better, I think it could be a lot better. And I think post Walking Dead, I'm more interested into like an adventure game type scenario. And I think they could tell good stories at
Sure.
Quantic, but I don't know.
What's
The
his name?
controls
Is
are
it
pretty
what's
bad.
his name? I want to say David Cage. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
He was saying the other day that he thinks sequels are lazy. He's he's a character, man.
He is.
I like he's got to stick with what they've been doing. He's kind of got to be that way, but
Is he French?
I don't know.
He's something, yeah.
Seems like a
Cage.
French kind of guy.
Kage.
He's a French
and then,
Derek Smart.
Like we mentioned Tomb Raider, Last of Us. I think, that's about all I'm looking at.
All right.
That I
None of you
know-
guys had
that I
Remember
know
Me
what
on
it
your
is.
list.
I haven't done my list, you ass, but Remember Me's
I
on
don't-
my
I
list.
don't even know what
Okay,
that is.
cool. Oh, you
I don't know what
were
that
talking
is.
about something. I assumed you. Okay. I just assumed that we just talked about. My list was your list.
But actually, Remember Me just recently caught my attention. So
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
it's Capcom's kind of next franchise or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And kind of cyberpunkish.
Okay.
But not Cyberpunk 2077, which is awesome also. And
We don't know
I watched
a
the
ton
trailer.
About it.
Yeah,
we don't know like a ton about the game yet, but it's got some melee combat.
Yeah.
It's got some traversal stuff. So you're gonna be jumping on things and over things and at things.
Trailers are really cool.
Yep.
And
But who's this? Don't Nod Entertainment.
Yeah.
What did they do? Who is this?
I don't know. I think they tried to pitch the game several different times before Capcom.
It's got to be. It's got to have some guys.
Yeah. I forget what they did.
Some peeps in there that has some cred.
But yeah, I watched the trailer, got hyped, on my list. Hopefully, Dragon's Crown, Vanillaware gets their stuff together, and that comes out this year. That'll probably be another PS3. If I had to
that was supposed to be. Yeah, that was supposed to be. Yeah, that was exclusive. But that was supposed to be last year. Like, when did they originally have that slated for? Like March last year, and then it was like, when is that? It's in the WrestleFest zone. Those games
which is still not out yet.
Those games are sitting in a
so
dank
WrestleFest
bar.
is on my list.
Just
Josh, you were saying, I don't believe it's technically out, but MechWarrior Tactics. I've been ever since.
You're excited for that?
Ever since Gen Con. Yeah.
Holy shit!
I want to give that a shot.
Yeah.
So.
It's
hardcore, but
well, you really kind of enjoyed the tabletop stuff, and that is definitely the closest representation you'll ever get besides like Mech Tech or whatever, which is not nice to look at.
I'm gonna play Gears of War Judgment. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully, let's see. It looks like Amnesia Machine for Pigs is still slated for Q1.
Oh fuck!
Jesus
I forgot
Christ.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Really interesting.
You're not going to play that.
Well, I'm not gonna play it.
You're going to play it. You're not going to finish it.
I'll shit myself.
That's okay if you don't finish that game. That's
you
a
guys should play it
compliment.
together,
Yeah.
so you won't be so scared.
We can hold hands.
I'm just really curious to see how the Chinese room influences the game. So
I want to see how the Chinese influence this game.
I've got Rayman Legends, which we will jump right to after. By the time Megan finishes getting all coins on Rainbow Road or whatever that is, Rayman Legends will be out, and we'll jump right into it. And I think she'll be fine because the last big game she played was the Rayman Jungle Run on iOS before she played Mario. So I don't think platforming's getting old. And I revisited Rayman Origins. It's a pretty good game.
Man, I really need to be playing that.
And then finally, still really curious about it. We'll find out more tonight. Oh wait, before I do that, The Wonderful 101, if that comes out this year, that's the Wii U title that I hope get some attention. And then Dead Space 3. You know, it's not the Dead Space I want probably, but I don't think they've gone Resident Evil 6 on me either. So
somewhere in between, right?
You know, I just want Isaac to put his mask back on and stop fucking look at the camera. I just don't really care to see the man. But it's even on its own, it's a great action series. I love how that game feels, and hopefully there's enough horror in it to keep me going. I'm sure there will be. Just don't ask me to co-op, or I'll want to curb stomp you. So not to be violent, but
it could be fun.
Okay. So
Resident Evil 5 co-op was really fun.
That's true. I'm just not ready. I'm not emotionally ready to make that leap with that series too.
Some parallels.
I became okay with Resident Evil being an action series, but I'm not ready to let go.
If the game is built for the co-op and you don't play it co-op because you're like, I don't want to play co-op because I want the experience I had in 1 and 2, and then you're disappointed, would you, and then in hindsight, this is you in the future after you've played the game single player and you were disappointed. Don't you wish you would have played that co-op from the start, Justin? And the answer is, I'll get it for you. The answer is, I wish I'd played a co-op in the first place.
There's nobody on the planet that can talk me into that now.
Rewind. But you've already seen the future. Even Scrooge figured this shit out.
To Ethan again.
It's gonna take somebody taking me in the future like that. That'd be an interesting Scrooge 2 Dead Space.
Ghosts of Gaming Future.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. We got 2 more categories to cover here. So I want to know which game do you not advise people betting on? Like, as far as this was your go-to game, we think you're going to be disappointed. Josh.
I keep flip flopping. I keep changing this. I had I had GTA 5 there, and then I've got Dead Space 3. But I'm actually going to settle on a game I know is going to be good and I'm going to play. Or not going to be good, but I'm going to play and enjoy when that's Aliens Colonial Marines.
But you're not going to bet on it.
No, I definitely would not. It could end up easily being a very mediocre game. If you watch the gameplay, especially that latest one they did, where you see like part of the mission early on, where you're with Bishop, and Lance Henriksen's talking to you, and he sounds so tired and old. But it's Lance Henriksen, so you respect the man. He doesn't really sound like Bishop, because Bishop wouldn't age, right? I mean, he's a freaking android. And you're like, you gotta go plant these sensors on these 3 spots, and it's like it's the build up level before the aliens show up, and then the lights flicker, and it's like, oh, the aliens are about to attack, and like it was just, it was so predictable. It was, and not like movie predictable, game predictable. So, but it looked fun, and it's like, that looks like it's fun to shoot the gun, and the sounds are there, and there's tons of aliens nostalgia that's hitting you in the face. But then, like, you see the aliens coming at the dude, and the AI looks broken. Like, they're crawling out of, there's a hole blasted in the side of this building. It's at Hadley's Hope, but it's like a little farther away from the big explosion at the end of Aliens. And you see like some aliens like crawling in. They're trying to crawl in this opening, and they get like stuck on the wall, and it's just going upside down and kind of wigging out. And the guy shoots it, and it just falls off the side. And it's like, ooh, that looked wonky. And the aliens just look so freaking slow. They just look slow, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm going to play it, and it's going to be fun. And I'll play co-op, and that'll be great. But I don't think anyone's going to be heaping praise on it like they did Borderlands. And I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. I hope there's a shit ton of polish. But I don't know. Don't bet on it.
Cole, what are you not betting on?
I'm going to go with GTA 5. And I think we're all a little biased.
Yeah, jaded for sure.
Jaded, yeah. But I think, and I read somebody or heard somebody talking about something that would have made this game a little more interesting. Not having 3 different storylines intertwining with different characters, but having a female protagonist.
Yeah.
That would have made it interesting. And I think that we've gotten our taste of what we want GTA to be, or we got our fill from what we are. I don't know.
I think we all decided that it's 2 different games.
Yeah, it is.
And we prefer one.
And what
over
we
the
wanted
other.
out of it was the fun, stupid bullshit of Saints Row.
But even the story shit was done better by Rockstar in a different franchise, and also done better by a true crime game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
So
I think that's super damning.
You guys talked about it a little bit last week with how I think it was you guys that
we're talking about Sleeping Dogs
character. Yeah, Nico's just not a compelling character, and
mm-hmm.
so it doesn't give us a lot of
how can any of these
3 characters are going to be what?
I said, how can any of and how can any of these 3 be compelling then too? It just
and that trailer was kind of so stupid. Like the humor was kind of just off. The fake like I'm a gangster stuff was kind of just off. It's like they just ran out of movies to copy.
I've not felt good about it at all, and I feel like they should wait for the next gen or focus on PC, like kind of upend it there a little bit. I don't know, but there's so many different ways. There's so many different ways we expected them to go, and they played it safer than I expected, and their switch is the 3 characters, and unless they do some really interesting things with co-op, like being able to, I don't know,
I think they're just going to triple the amount that we don't give a shit.
Yeah. I would rather have them do another location like a Red, or another time frame, or a location like a Red Dead, instead of making another GTA game.
I mean, that's another it's a modern day thing.
Do a space version
on this generation too. That's the thing. Like GTA, That's if you're gonna pick a genre that's being held back by current hardware, it's the fucking open world games.
Absolutely.
It's the pop-in bullshit. It's the low population count on people on the sidewalks. You know, it's all the just no destructible buildings, and you can't go inside of all the buildings because they couldn't draw that shit. Like there's that's the perfect game to play on some new hardware.
I'm bummed that I missed the Rockstar train, like, because every time they did great, I bet against them. And then when I came back around during Red Dead, ever since then, the ride's not been as fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think we're all Rockstar'd out. Like,
but you like Max Payne.
It's just...
But not as a $60 game, never mind.
No. Yeah, I mean, I like it because I played Max Payne 1 and 2 when they came out, and he's piece of shit Bruce Willis.
It's doing uninspiring shit.
But it's not a good game. I have no faith in that game. That was a good pick, Cole. That's
my pick is the new Insomniac game, their first game they're releasing with EA. Fuse at one time was called Overstrike, and when it was Overstrike, it seemed really interesting to me. It's another like big 4-player co-op action game. And they, it's kind of every time they do those 4-player games, they try to come up with these 4 characters that have unique character traits and kind of stand out on their own. And it was like, I remember the first trailer being very character focused, and there's something I really liked about that.
Those like characters have shields and shit.
I think so.
Like one of the characters have shields. I don't know.
Since
like bucklers?
No. Like shields that they can like throw out in front of them while they're firing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like they had different abilities, and it was like kind of Borderlands-ish as far as that kind of co-op approach. But I really like Insomniac's pedigree, and I want them to kind of I root for them honestly, and so I was kind of hoping for big things. But the more I've seen of this game, the more generic it's gotten, and I'm really worried about it. Just as far as like, they went out from being a first-party developer for Sony, and are now striking out on their own, and it seems like a misstep. And while I like it to succeed, I wouldn't. It looks really generic.
The outfit too.
Yeah, it does. I remember when I first saw that trailer, and maybe it was back when it was called Overstrike. I was like, this. Yeah, you're talking a big game, but it doesn't look anything special at all.
Yeah, it's like I lumped this in with Dark Sector and Inversion and Dark Void and like all these like super
and
haze, yeah, and like all these just like generic ass. I hope just like all these games, if I'm ever talking shit, I want them to do well. I want all games to be the best game.
Yeah,
but man, it looks real generic. Maybe not. I wouldn't bet on it though.
Let's close this out with your guarantee. This game will be awesome. Josh.
Just do someone else, because I can't decide.
Cole.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and a big limb, I think. I'm going to say Injustice Gods Among Us, because you mix fucking awesome Mortal Kombat with DC characters, which they've done before.
Which was really good. I like that game.
Yeah, which is really good, but now it's all DC characters, and if they can convey some of that story aspect from Mortal Kombat into these DC characters, I think it could be really good as a fighting game.
Josh looks
like he disagrees. I was going out on a limb, Josh. Going out on a limb.
You almost hurt him, I think.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Superheroes in a screen-limited 2D fighter has got to be just one of the dumbest ideas that any game designer has ever had. The last Mortal Kombat game fucking owned. That was great. They did that. Ed Boon's back, and then he's doing this.
I think why?
It's because of money. It's licensing. It's money. Whatever.
And then they did the DC crossover with MK, and it was okay. It was not as good as the new Mortal Kombat, but they started laying some of the foundation with the way they're doing the storytelling. And that's been interesting. So
you know what? If you're not a comic fan and you can just completely ignore the fact that none of these characters would have this fight that you're having when you're playing the game, then sure, you could maybe have a good time with it as just like as a 2D fighter.
Here's the problem.
I have to close my eyes though to play it. Otherwise, I'm going to get annoyed.
This game is named terribly.
Yeah,
It is. It's
really
like you don't know what the fuck it is.
Like, I mean, I know they don't want to plaster DC Universe in the title, but they kind of need to do that. So
it's the funny thing is, it's kind of like
It's like Justice League.
They're doing this stuff. It's like, hey, you know what? Like comic fans are real. They're like, we're making stuff for comic fans, you know, and then but you put Green Lantern and Superman and Wonder Woman in a little 2D fighter. Like a real superhero fighting game would be like Power Stone on crack. But that's not what they're making.
They should do that.
Fuck yeah, they should.
NetherRealm. My guarantee that'll be awesome is SimCity. You talked about it a little bit earlier, Josh, but I just think all the pieces are in place. It's been enough time since we've gotten a SimCity game. Honestly, this will be the first Sim game I've played since SimCity. I skipped SimCity 2000 and never really came back to it. And I love the multiplayer aspects of this, that you can influence your friends' towns if you get all that stuff together. And it looks beautiful, and it is going to be the perfect fit in my game library, just because I don't really have sim games that I play much anymore, so could not be more excited for it.
I'm with you, dude. I think this is like, it's going to be really solid. Like I would definitely not bet against this game, especially with the audience growing for this type of game. Like I feel like it's going to sell really well too.
Should do all right.
Yeah, I bet it's. Although, it's going to be Origin exclusive, isn't it?
Probably.
Fuck.
I'm suddenly getting like a half dozen games on there. That's weird.
I wonder, man, that's got to hurt sales.
Yeah.
But whatever. The game's going to be fun, and we'll buy it regardless of that. I just think that there's still a lot of people out there that are going to go, I'm not going to buy a game on Origin. And I sort of understandably so, although not really. I don't really get it. But looks really fun. Looks like I think there's just been a big hole. You know, Cities XL, I don't think has filled it because most people don't know about it, and I don't know that it's not as accessible to. But yeah, it's going to be good. We're all going to play it, and we're going to talk about it a bunch on Super Game Best Friends.
Make a guarantee right now.
It's like, do I go with I'm hoping it's coming out in 2013, but I'm going to actually go out on a limb a little bit, but not quite as far as Cole did. I'm going to say late 2013, Doom 4. It's not on the list.
And you think it'll be awesome.
And I think that id is going to get back on track. I think Rage was probably a decent Doom game, but it just had the wrong aesthetic. Had you been playing, had it been shooting demons and shit on Mars, you would have, or in hell, you probably would have been okay because everyone loved the gameplay of Rage. They just hated that it looked like, you know, some kind of like generic Fallout or Borderlands kind of thing. Yeah, I think the new Doom is gonna be pretty cool, and I think it's gonna launch this year. This has been in production this is for 5 years now. This is year 5, so I think it kind of has to come out. This is its game of this year because there's nothing else in the pipeline. They've got to be. I think they're all hands on deck for this,
or they're all eyes on deck for Oculus Rift.
I think that Oculus Rift commercial version launches late 2013, Doom 4 at the same time. I think they're going to match up.
Shit.
And I'm going to buy the shit out of that thing. Every journalist that has had hands-on with Oculus Rift has gone bananas. Every single one of them has said, whoa, okay, that was actually really cool. If you haven't seen this thing, it's a headset. It's the first like real attempt at the virtual reality kind of headset. And this is not like the little Sony thing. This is You put this headset on. It's got dual 3D screens. They're dual 720p, I think, screens in there, right in the test version, in the dev version.
Yeah.
But they're bigger. And they're closer to your eyes. So they take up your peripheral vision too. So it's a little more immersive than the stuff that we'd seen in the past from like Sony or whoever else. So, I think the Oculus Rift is going to kick a lot of ass, but it needs a killer app, and I think it's Doom 4, and I think it's this year, and it is way overdue for something really, really, really good. I just think that they're too smart to not have learned from some mistakes, and I'm really excited. I'm really excited for some immersive 3D VR Doom 4. Bet against it, you're a fool.
I like how you win the hype award, and we're not even sure any of this stuff's actually coming out this year.
John Carmack is going to shoot rockets into space to celebrate.
Future Slam 2014 will have the same guarantee.
Future Slam!
That's it. HorribleNight.com updates before we get out of here. Just a couple small things. We are, once again, as soon as we get it on the site, we'll be posing a community-based vote on the Best of Horrible Night articles from 2012. So be on the lookout for that on the site. And then we're also working on our redesign, hopefully launching sometime in February, mainly focused on making this site a lot more mobile-friendly, as we've had a lot of issues recently. And
get an iPad.
In the same realm, if you may have noticed, our site's performance is not been to my liking, at least, and we'll be speeding things up quite a bit for visitors of the site. So hopefully you notice a big difference by the time the redesign rolls out. But we are looking to improve the performance of the site, make it a little bit more friendly for our readers. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Josh, you all right?
I'm good.
Okay. Cole, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, no problem. I got so many internal boners going on right now.
Looks like you were trying to find one a second ago.
Everybody in chat, we will. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next Tuesday live again on Twitch TV/Horrible Night, and we'll catch you next time.
Couldn't do deuces harder.